I wasn't the only guy in cycling that got destroyed. There were many.
Well, that was certainly the public perception that there was nobody else.
Well, certainly there was nobody else in the U.S. Everybody in the U.S. They took some punches, but they got a pass. But there were the equivalent of me in other countries who didn't, and sort of the second and third tier guys or their teammates also got passes. But those top guys, Jan Ullrich, Marco Pantani, Frank Vandenbroek, Jimenez in Spain, guys like that, they took a beating from the media and the fans and from the public, and only one of them is alive. Right? Jan Ullrich is the only one alive today, and the others overdosed and died. So,
oh fuck, dude.
Yeah. So that was the other option, right? But with that comes, and I've seen it with Jan, for example. I mean, you lose any valuable friends, you lose your wife, you lose your children. And then in the case of those others, they lost their lives. And so you had that as an extreme. And then you had my situation where I was like, okay, that's an option, but I'm not doing that. I'm also not going to curl up and cry and feel sorry for myself. I mean, yeah, this isn't ideal and this sucks. And most of this is self-inflicted, but fuck this. I'm going to figure this out. I am. I promise you, I'm going to figure it out. And I don't know how long it will take, but I'm not giving up. And I'm certainly not going to go down that rabbit hole of just destroying my life.
So I'm curious if because I see this idea of throwing yourself into, it's another addiction, right? Which arguably way healthier than drugs and whatever alcohol. But it actually, I believe it's important for us to, sometimes we have to numb ourselves because we're not ready to process what our world just fucking came crashing down and we can't start processing it on day one. And so do you recall a time over the past 10 years where it was like the switch got flipped and you're like, okay, I'm ready to I've got some tools now that I can actually start to move through this.
Yeah. Look, it's been just over 11 years since I did the Oprah interview. So the world, I think, sort of views that as I mean, that was the day, right? The day after, I should say, where, I went from hero to zero overnight. So, a lot of people applauded that. A lot of people thought that was funny. A lot of people thought that I deserved that. And and a lot of that's right. I didn't think it was funny, but I certainly deserved it. But you can't go through that and all of that comes with it. So going from hero to zero just personally is awful. It has an impact. I had 3 older children who were in middle school. As your parent, you know how rough middle school can be, especially for girls. It's terrible. There was a mile-long list of lawsuits. Income went from some exorbitant amount to zero. So not only does income go down, and
you had the $100 million lawsuit.
But then you had that didn't happen actually then.
Oh, it didn't?
No, that happened later.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. No, they saved that one for last.
Yep.
No, I had to settle all the other lawsuits. And then that one came. We can talk about that. That was a crazy case, but nonetheless, turned out okay. Again, we can talk about it, but you can't go through all of these things without suffering PTSD.